Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, as you can see that basically in this lecture we are going to start the discussion over the parliamentary committees, right? This is going to be the topic that we are going to start right now. Alright, and if we talk about the parliamentary committees, then let us recall several things that we had discussed in the parliament lecture. In the parliament, when we were discussing the ordinary bills, so we had discussed that there are 5 stages of the ordinary bills. Okay. First stage is presentation of the bill in the house. Second stage is examination and scrutiny of the bill. Third stage is discussion of the bill. Fourth is voting and passing. Third is the voting and passing. The fourth is presenting the bill in the another house. And the fifth is granting the assent of the president. So these are the 5 stages of passing of the bill. Got it? So here in the second stage, the state of examination and the scrutiny. So that particular stage is the stage in which the parliamentary committees came into the picture. Okay? Because the bill has been examined, the bill has been scrutinized by the parliamentary committees. Even not only this way, the parliamentary committees are important even for the checking of the executives. Like we know, the legislature only provides the base of various facts and figures, and you can say even the legislations, and the executives are the one, and we know the executives are the one who will implement those bills. Got it? So basically the parliamentary committees also examines the action of the executives to check out whether they misuse their powers or not, or whether the work they had done is accordance with the provisions of the bill or not. Okay, so the parliamentary committees having a well-defined role in the parliamentary system of India. So now we are going to look after this. So let's start. So basically in this session we can say that we will discuss several facts and figures like the meaning of the parliamentary committee, the classification of the parliamentary committees, okay, the financial committees, departmental standing committees, departmental standing committees and their jurisdiction. Okay, so these are some of the points. After this, we will look in committees to inquire, committees to scrutinize and control, okay, committees relating to day-to-day business of the house, thereafter the housekeeping committees, and then come the consultative committees. So you can say that there are total 10 things that we are going to see under the topic of parliamentary committees. Starting with the meaning, then the classification, then the financial committees, departmental standing committees and what are their jurisdiction, the committees to inquire, the committees to scrutinize and the control, the committees that are relating to the day-to-day business of the house, the housekeeping committees and the consultative committees. Okay, so let's move forward, and this is the first thing that we are going to see here. Like, what is the meaning? What is the meaning of the term parliamentary committees? That is what we are going to see. So the parliament is too unwieldy a body to deliberate effectively the issues that come up before it. Like if we talk about the parliament, so what is the parliament? The parliament is the central authority, okay, and you can say it is the highest symbol of the democracy in our country. It is bicameral. It consists of the 2 houses, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. The Rajya Sabha represents the states. The Lok Sabha represents the individuals who directly elected by the general people of India. Alright. So basically the parliament is the unwieldy a body which having the responsibility to govern the country, to resolve the issues that come up before it. Okay. And if we take this into the functions of the parliament, then these are varied, complex and voluminous. Because you can even see the country's population is in billions, and the population is not homogeneous but heterogeneous. What do you mean by homogeneous? Like in India, there is no single religion, there is no single language, there is no single culture, there is no single religion and all. Even you can say the same religion having the different kind of segments within them. Okay, so India is a diverse country. That's why the work of the parliament to govern these peoples for a definite period, 5 years, then again 5 years through the elections and all. However, the candidates and the member of parliament might be changed because of the elections, but the working of the parliament would be continue as it is. So because of this, the functions of the parliament are varied. Okay, they are complex and voluminous because they have to work for each and every one, and they have to work for these things. Okay, and we can say, moreover, it has neither the adequate time nor necessary expertise to make a detailed scrutiny of all legislative measures and other matters. Why? Because if we talk about the sessions of the parliament, then the parliament having the 3 sessions, right? Like the session, budget session from Feb to May. Okay. Then the monsoon session, July to September. Then the winter session, November to December. All right. So already if you look at it, so the months in which the parliament generally meets, the months are less. Moreover, you can say if we talk about the sitting of the parliament, then we know the parliament having the 2 sittings, morning sitting and post lunch sitting. If we talk about morning sitting, then we know in morning, the time period is from generally you can say 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Sorry, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Okay, this is the morning time period. And after this, we know from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. So here you can say that there is no adequate time to discuss all the issues effectively. Why? Because not only the months in which they are meeting, they are less, but also the time they are getting for the discussion, it also less. Secondly, expertise. Like different bills belong to the different fields, different areas, and it is not possible that the members are expert in each and every area. And even you can say, if we talk about the Indian system, then it is, you can say quite obvious that in India, it is not a condition to be the member of parliament that you must have some adequate educational qualification, right? In here, if we talk about the qualifications to get the member of the parliament, so basically there is a qualification like you must be an Indian, you must have that particular age and all, but there is no provision that at least you have this much of expertise, this much of degree and all. Why? Because when we constituted a constitution, on that time, there was a huge illiteracy in India. So that was not good if we provided for the education to become the member of the parliament. Okay. So this is the one of the reasons. Second, even the members who having the knowledge and they are educated and all, even they do not have the expertise in each and every matter so that they could make a detailed scrutiny of all legislative measures and other measures. Got it? So here we have studied the problem. Now it's a time to find out the solution. Therefore, it is assisted by the number of committees in the discharge of their duties. So basically, these committees are there to fulfill the gap that has arisen from the time reason, from expertise reason, okay, and from the varied, complex and voluminous reasons of the work. These committees are basically there to assist the parliament members for the discharge of their duties, and you can say the discharge of parliamentary duties as a whole. Got it? The Constitution of India makes a mention of these committees at different places. Okay, so you can say the mention of these committees comes from the Constitution of India. First thing comes from where? Comes from the Constitution of India. Okay, and this is mentioned at different places. but without making any specific provisions regarding their composition, tenure, functions, etc. Okay. So, however, there is a mention of the committees in the Constitution, but their composition, their tenure, and the functions are not so well elaborated and not so well presented. Got it? So we can say all these matters are dealt by the rules of two houses, and that's rules we know as the rules of procedure of Parliament. Okay, so basically you can say the Constitution only provides for the mentions and all, and the rest of the things basically lies with the Parliament, and thus the Parliament forms the rules for procedure and all, and these rules are the one which governs with the composition, the tenures, the function, and other related aspect with the committees. Accordingly, parliamentary committees means the committees that appointed or elected by the House or nominated by the Speaker or the Chairman. Appointed or elected by the House or nominated by the Speaker in the Lok Sabha and the Chairman in the Rajya Sabha. Okay. Second condition is that works under the direction of the Speaker or the Chairman. This is the second condition. Got it? Third, presents the report to the House or to the Speaker and Chairman. Fourth, has a secretariat provided by the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. Got it? So there are four conditions. First condition is that either they are appointed or elected by the House members, or they are nominated by the Speaker or the Chairman. Second, works under the directions of the Speaker or the Chairman. Third, presents the report to the House, to the Speaker or the Chairman. Okay. Fourth, having a secretariat provided by the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. So these are the four conditions that provides for the parliamentary committees as per the parliamentary laws. So the consultative committees, which also consist the members of parliament, are not parliamentary committees as they do not fulfill our four conditions. So you can say that we had talked about the financial committees, departmental standing committees, departmental committees and their works, committees to inquire, committees to scrutinize and control, committees relating to the day-to-day business, housekeeping committees and all. Out of these, the consultative committees are those committees which having the members of parliament, but they could not be defined as a parliamentary committees. Why? Because they do not fulfill our four conditions. Thus, they do not elected or appointed by the Speaker, Chairman or the House members. They do not work under the directions of the Speaker and Chairman. They does not present their reports to the House or the Speaker or the Chairman. And they does not have any secretariat provided by the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. Okay. So because of this, remember the consultative committees are not the parliamentary committees, but they do have the parliamentary members. So here we had finished the meanings. Now we are going to see the classification. What is the classification of parliamentary committees? Broadly, the parliamentary committees are basically of two types. What are these two types? First is the standing committee. Second is the ad hoc committee. So what are two types? A standing committee and the ad hoc committee. Okay. So if we look, you can say after them. So we can say the former are permanent. It means constituted every year or periodically. The standing committees are constituted every year or periodically. So thus they are the permanent committees. Okay. And work on the continuous basis. While the later one, that is the ad hoc committee, they are temporary and cease to exist on the completion of the task assigned to them. So you can say basically the standing committees are those committees where which works are well defined by the Constitution. Every year they constituted, whether annually or periodically. even they work on the continuous basis. Okay. Thereafter, if we talk about the ad hoc committees, the ad hoc committees are those committees which established for the specialization, or you can say special kind of work. Okay. And they are temporary. Why? Because once the work which had been assigned to them completed, the committee also ceased to exist. The committee will no longer exist. Okay. So basically the ad hoc committees are designed and established to towards some specific task, and once the task completed, the committee will also dissolve. Okay. So these are the two types of the committees. The first type that we are going to see here is the standing committee. So if we look in the standing committee, so we can say on the basis of the nature of functions performed by them, standing committees even could be classified into the following 6 categories. Okay. So you can say the standing committees also having the division that is totally depend upon the nature of functions performed by them. Okay. And these could be classified into the 6 categories even. First category is the financial committee. Okay. The financial committees continued the public account committee, the estimate committee, committee on public undertakings. Okay. After this, the next type is departmental standing committees. Third is committees to inquire. This includes the committees on petitions, committee on privileges, ethics committee. Okay. Fourth is committees to scrutinize and control. So this having committee on government assurance, committee on subordinate legislation, committee on papers laid on the table, committee on welfare of scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes, committees on empowerment of women, joint committee on offices of profit. Okay. Fifth is committees relating to the day-to-day business of the houses, like business advisory committee, committee on private members bills and resolutions, rules committee, committee on absence of members from sitting of the house. Okay. And the sixth is housekeeping committees, also known as the service committees, because housekeeping is also the service. Therefore, these committees are concerned with the provision of facilities and services provided to the members. So these are general purposes committees first, house committee second, library committee third, joint committee on salaries and allowances of members fourth. Okay. So these are the standing committees. So these 6 classifications even having the classification. It means that the committees are broadly classified into the 2 categories, standing committees and the ad hoc committees. Further, the standing committees got classified into the 6 categories. Okay. And these 6 categories itself classified into the following categories and various categories. Okay. So you can say the parliamentary committees is not a small term, but it is a broad term. Got it? So now we are going to talk about the ad hoc committee. So we know the ad hoc committees are the temporary committees, only you can establish for some specific task, and once the task over, the committee will also cease to be operated. Got it? So we can say ad hoc committees can be divided into the 2 categories. First is inquiry committees and second is advisory committees. Okay. The standing committees having a 6 divisions, ad hoc committees having the 2 divisions. Advisory committees and the inquiry committees. Got it? So let's start with the first one. First is the inquiry committees. So if we talk about the inquiry committees, so inquiry committees are constituted from time to time because they are not permanent, they are temporary, and they are especially, you can say, established for the need of time. So constituted from time to time, either by the 2 houses on a motion adopted in that behalf. It means that if the motion presented in the house and both the houses adopted the motion, then the inquiry committee would be set up. Second way is by the speaker and chairman to inquire into and report on specific subjects. So you can say the inquiry committees could be established by two ways. First way, when the House will set up it. It means that the House will pass the provision, and if the motion adopted in the Houses, then the committee would be set up. Second, if the House did not initiate the process, then the speaker and the chairman will appoint the committee, and the purpose will be on to report on some specific subjects after conducting an inquiry. Okay, so basically committee on the conduct of certain members during the president address. First is committee on the conduct of certain members during the president address. First type, committee on draft 5-year plan. Second committee. Third, railway convention committee. Fourth, committee on members of parliament, local area development scheme, maplets. Okay, basically you can say this is the scheme initiated. Like if we talk about the members of parliament, so even in the parliament chapter when we were discussing about the elections to the Lok Sabha, I had told you basically there is a territorial representation, okay, in the Lok Sabha. So basically you can say the person who is the member of parliament from where the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha in some cases, so they are, you can say, representing some group of people, and that particular group of people is belonging to some you can say specifically, or you can say some particularly territorial area. All right, so basically this is the responsibility of that particular member of parliament, that if he belong to the certain area, so he should develop the area. Okay, so basically that was the scheme, that member of parliament local area development scheme. For example, you can say if there is Mr. X and Mr. X belongs to the Chandigarh, then Mr. X having the responsibility to look after the development of Chandigarh. Similarly, if there is Mr. Y and Mr. Y belong to the Coimbatore, then it is the responsibility of Mr. Y that he will look after the development of Coimbatore. All right, so that was the scheme. So basically there could be a committee on the members of parliament local area development scheme, maplets. After this, joint committee on Beaufort's contract, joint committee on fertilizers pricing, joint committee to inquire into the irregularities in securities in banking transactions, joint committee on stock market scheme, joint committee on security in parliamentary complex, committee on provisions of computers to the members of parliament, offices of political parties and officers of the Lok Sabha secretary. Got it? After this, committee on food management in the parliament house complex, committee on installation of portrait statues of national leaders and the parliamentarians in the house complex, joint committee on maintenance of heritage character and the development of parliament house complex, committee on violation of protocol norms and contemptuous behaviors of government officers with members of Lok Sabha, joint committee to examine matters relating to the allocation and pricing of telecom licenses and spectrum. Okay, so these are the inquiry committees. Second is the advisory committee. So the advisory committees include select or joint committees on bills, which are appointed to consider and report on particular bills. These committees are distinguishable from the other ad hoc committees in as much way. They are concerned with the bills and the procedure that to be followed by them is laid down in the rules of procedure and the directions by the speaker and the chairman. So whenever a bill comes up before a house for the general discussion, it is open to that house to refer it to the selected committee of the house or a joint committee of two houses for the advisory and the examination. So a motion to this effect has to be moved and adopted in the house in which the bill comes up for the consideration. In case the motion adopted is for reference of the bill to a joint committee, the decision is conveyed to the other house, requesting the members to nominate members of the other house to serve to the committee. Thereafter, the select or joint committee considers the bill clause by clause just as the two houses do, and then amendments to the various clauses can be moved by the members of the committee. The committee can also take the advice of the associations, public bodies, experts who having the interest in the bill. After the bill has thus been considered, the committee submits its report to the house, and members who do not agree with the majority report may append their minutes of dissent to the reports. Okay, so this is the system. So students, basically in this lecture we have finished till here. In the next lecture we would continue from here. Till then, just revise the facts and figures that all we have discussed in this lecture. Be ready for the another lecture. With this note, let's end this lecture, and what we say in the end, we say thank you.